Who's ready for fall? I know I am. Fall season means fall season movies. So let's talk about some fall season must-sees that, well, you must see. Category: romantic comedies. Okay, so the first on my list is the classic You've Got Mail. I love this movie. I watch it every year in September and October. It's starring Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. It's a very sweet movie. She plays a small bookstore owner. They are being outperformed by a big franchise bookstore, Fox Books, which is owned by Tom Hanks and his father and grandfather. And at the beginning, they don't really like each other very much, but there's also another thing that's going on where the You've Got Mail thing comes from, where this is the introduction to the internet. This movie came out in the late 90s, by the way. This is an introduction to the internet, which is so ironic because in this movie, small mom and pop bookstores are being phased out because of big franchise bookstores. And then they also introduced the internet in this movie, which, as we all know, years down the line, the internet also got rid of, well, not got rid of, but actually it did get rid of. Borders is gone. It no longer exists. And Barnes & Nobles was also closing in a lot of places, but they're starting to open back up in some places. I digress. But the internet was also making big franchise bookstores disappear. So that's the really ironic thing about this film. However, it's still very sweet. This is the part where Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, they meet via the internet, via internet chat room, and they don't know who the other person is, and yada yada yada, and things happen, and obviously it is a very sweet ending. I'm not going to ruin it, but also it's kind of predictable, which you might get, but it is a feel-good movie. It goes through all 4 seasons, or I think 3 seasons or 4 seasons. I don't know. Spring and summer kind of blend together for me, but it goes through multiple seasons in New York, and one of them is fall and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and sweaters and hot cocoa and coffee, and plus it's bookstore vibe, which I love. The bookstore vibe, it is so warm and welcoming and so great. So definitely a must-see. The next on this must-see list is Sleepless in Seattle, which again stars Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and is set in both Seattle, as in the title, and New York. And in this one, this is a much earlier movie that came out before You've Got Mail, and Tom Hanks is a single father. He's living in Seattle in a boathouse. His son calls into a radio station talking about how his dad is lonely, and then his dad starts talking to the radio disc jockey about his loneliness and all this kind of things. I don't exactly remember the details, but I do remember that Meg Ryan does end up falling in love with him while she's listening to him talk to the anchor on the radio. And this whole, all of these little details happen, and then they meet at the end, and it's again very sweet, and it has fall vibes with the sweaters, with the cold weather. Tom Hanks' real life wife is in the movie, Rita Wilson. If you haven't seen this one, definitely check it out. The next on this fall must-see list is When Harry Met Sally. Wow, Meg Ryan has really got this fall list in her bag, because she is also in this movie. This movie came out in '89. It stars both her and Billy Crystal. In this one, these two are college graduates. They're driving from Chicago to New York. I just realized that You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, and When Harry Met Sally all have some element of New York in them. Wow, New York was a very popular filming place in the 80s and 90s, apparently. Anywho, so Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are driving from Chicago to New York, and they end up getting in an argument of whether or not men and women can be platonic friends, and it leads them down I think it's a 10-year journey. A lot of little things happen, but it's, again, very sweet movie, full of sweaters, that kind of wholesome vibe. It is not a movie that is okay for kids to watch, so I would not recommend watching it with kids around. The next on this fall must-see list is Pride and Prejudice from 2005, starring Matthew McFadden and Keira Knightley. We all know that hand scene when they touch and then Matthew McFadden does like that little hand flex of like, oh my gosh, electricity flying through him. Pride and Prejudice is based on the Jane Austen book of the same name, and it follows Elizabeth Bennet and her sisters and Matthew McFadden, who plays Mr. Darcy. They don't really like each other at first. They're kind of enemies to lovers, kind of like You've Got Mail and When Harry Met Sally. So Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy are headbutting a lot, but then at the end they realize that, wait a minute, this other person brings out the best in me more than anyone else ever has. And they also are the best people to understand each other. They understand each other very well. He challenges her, she challenges him, and it's a really great, sweet movie. It has very much fall vibes, and I would recommend watching it for your fall season movie. The next fall season must-see is Me Before You. I absolutely love this movie, and yes, there is a sad element to it. However, surprisingly, the movie at the end doesn't make you feel sad. Instead, it makes you feel hopeful and like living life. And usually in these kind of movies, like I cry, like I'm a crier in movies. But for this one, I didn't end up crying because it just, I don't know, it just felt very interestingly, in a way, kind of happy. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if that made sense to you. But Me Before You stars Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin. It is a extremely sweet movie. Emilia Clarke wears so many cute baggy sweaters that I wish I could like have them all. And it's set in winter and fall, so hence the sweaters and the scarves. And it is a wonderful little rom-com, so definitely check it out. The last but not least on this list of rom-com must-sees is Little Women from 2019, starring Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, and Saoirse Ronan. This one, again, has fall vibes with the sweaters. Apparently anything with sweaters is just fall vibes to me. But they also have a scene where they're celebrating Thanksgiving. I like this movie. It's one of those, I don't know, like softer films. There's quite a bit of talking, but for some reason it just feels like one of those, like, you know, you want to wind down with a cup of hot cocoa or coffee and then sit with a blanket in front of your fireplace or whatnot and just, you know, put on this movie. And it's sweet, it's drama, it's funny. I don't know if I'd call it funny. You might find some scenes funny, but it has you know, sweet little dramatic moments. There is a sad scene, yes there is. However, the movie does end on a happy note, so I would recommend watching Little Women. So this is my list of fall season must-sees that fall under rom-coms. Be sure to come back for my next category of fall season must-sees, and if you think I missed something that you personally really liked, well, be sure to comment below and let me know and let others know what else you recommend them to watch. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for new videos every week. And like I said, be sure to come back for another round of fall season must-sees. Bye!